My coworker kept taking my lunch, so I made one sandwich that made him confess out loud. My coworker Brad kept stealing my lunch from the office fridge every day for 2 straight weeks. It wasn't a missing granola bar here and there. It was my whole meal. Gone. Pasta salad, sandwiches, leftover pizza, even a dish my mom made for me that I'd been saving. Every time I brought it up, Brad would put on this wide-eyed face and go, "That's so weird. Who would do that? We've got a lunch thief." Then, not long after, I'd see him at his desk eating a container of food that looked a lot like mine. Meanwhile, I was spending $15 to $20 a day on takeout, and I was really tired and broke. I knew it was him, but HR doesn't care about guesses. They want proof. So I started writing everything down like I was building a case. Monday, chicken salad gone. Brad eating chicken salad at 11:45. Tuesday, spaghetti gone. Brad with pasta at noon. Wednesday, my turkey wrap missing. Brad chewing a wrap and avoiding eye contact. The pattern was so obvious it hurt, but he was careful. If I tried to catch him, he'd wait until I was in a meeting or on a call. One day, I even sat near the kitchen at lunch, and he didn't go in at all. The second I got pulled into a conference room, though, my lunch disappeared. It started to feel like he knew my calendar better than I did. He'd stroll by my desk and ask, "Still in that meeting?" Like he was checking the coast was clear. Twice, I rushed to the fridge right after a call and found my empty bag shoved behind the milk. I tried moving my lunch around the fridge. I hid it behind milk cartons. I put it on different shelves. I wrote my name in huge marker and added "Do not take." I tried decoy lunches in obvious spots while I tucked my real one deep in the bag. Somehow, the decoys stayed and my real food still vanished. It was like this guy had turned stealing lunches into a sport. After the second week, I walked into work already mad. I had another meeting-heavy day, and I could almost picture Brad doing his little sneak walk to the fridge. That's when I decided I needed a trap that would make him give himself away, right in front of people, without me touching him or starting a fight. I made my usual turkey and Swiss sandwich. Lettuce, tomato, mayo, everything normal on the outside. Then I lifted the top slice and spread a thin line of ghost pepper sauce under the mayo where you couldn't see it. This wasn't poison. It was just the kind of sauce with a warning label that says, "Use a drop." I also wrote a note and folded it inside the bag. "Brad's lunch. Enjoy." And just in case he tried to play dumb later, I took a clear photo of the bag with my name written on it in big black letters. Then I put it in the fridge like always and went back to my desk. I could see the hallway to the break room from where I sat, so I pretended to work and waited. Around 11:45, Brad stood up, stretched like he had all the time in the world, and walked toward the kitchen. I watched him disappear inside. A few minutes later, I heard a loud yell that made people jump in their chairs. "Water! I need water!" Brad came stumbling out, eyes pouring tears, face bright red, doing these short, panicky breaths like he couldn't decide if he should cough or cry. He grabbed a cup and chugged it, then another, but it wasn't helping. He was fanning his mouth with both hands and making this miserable little noise every time he swallowed. The whole office went quiet, and people leaned out of cubicles to watch. Brad gasped, "Why is it so hot? It burns!" I stood up and walked over like I was just being a nice coworker. "Brad, are you okay? What happened?" He looked at me, desperate, and blurted, "Somebody put crazy hot sauce in their sandwich." I kept my face blank. "In their sandwich?" I said. "Wait, you ate someone else's sandwich?" The second the words left my mouth, his eyes widened. You could see his brain catching up with what he'd admitted. Brad stammered, I thought it was mine. I didn't know." I pulled out my phone, opened the photo, and held it up so he and the nearest coworkers could see. "This one?" I asked, pointing at my name in huge letters. "Because that's my sandwich." The room went dead silent. Then someone behind me let out this low, shocked, "Wow." Brad's face went pale, then red again, like he was overheating all over again. He tried to talk, but he was still choking down air and water. At that moment, our manager stepped out of her office because everyone had stopped working and just staring. She looked at Brad, looked at the water cups, then looked at my phone in my hand. "Brad," she said, calm but sharp, "come with me, now." Brad didn't argue. He wiped his eyes with his sleeve and hurried toward the bathroom, trying not to look at anyone as the manager followed right behind him.